Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to go over the bell ringer for today. We have, first we need to read the problem. You don't need to copy the whole problem down, but you do need to copy down the work that I write. So the perimeter of a rectangle can be expressed as 2 times the length plus the width, where L is the length and W is the width. A regulation pool table is 5 feet wide and 10 feet long and 2.5 feet tall. What is the perimeter of the top of a regulation pool table? Well, the first thing we need to do is copy down the formula that we're going to use. So we have the area. Sorry, we're not looking for area. We're actually looking for perimeter. So the perimeter equals 2 times L plus W. Okay? Then I'd like you to write L equals and W equals. And we're going to go back to the problem to look for clues as to what they are. Well, it says a regulation pool table is 5 feet wide, so that's the width. So we'll say if this is 5 feet wide, and the length, it's 10 feet long. So we're going to say 10 feet for L. Now all we have to do is plug these numbers into our formula. So we say P equals 2 times parentheses 10 plus 5. Okay. I didn't put the units in there because I know that the answer in the end is going to be feet, so I'll just use that. So now we have parentheses. We need to deal with the parentheses first because order of operations says parentheses is highest priority. 10 plus 5 gives me 15, and I still have the 2 on the outside. So now I just need to multiply 2 times 15, and I get the perimeter equals 30, and then I said the units was feet, and that's our answer. So now that we're done with our bell ringer, I'll give you a moment to copy that down, and then we're going to move on. Okay, let's take a look at our objective for today. Students will use order of operations to find the area of geometric figures. We already did our bell ringer. We're going over our objective now. Next thing we're going to do is the guided practice. Then you'll be doing independent practice and wrap up at the end. So our guided practice for today, if you can take a look at your sheets that you have. First, we start off by asking you to write down the formulas for the areas of the given shapes. And so what we're going to do now for rectangle, the area of a rectangle equals base times height. That's how I'm going to refer to it. You could say length times width, but I'm going to use B and H. Okay. The area of a rectangle, of a triangle, area equals base times height divided by 2. The next one is the area of a parallelogram. The area of a parallelogram is actually the same formula as the area for a rectangle. Area equals base times height. And finally, the area of a trapezoid, area equals the B1 plus B2. Actually, I don't even need that parenthesis because of our invisible parentheses. So B1 plus B2 over 2 times H. Okay, so the trapezoid formula looks a little more complicated. So now we are going to find the area of each figure. So for number 5, that is a triangle, we know because it has 3 sides. And with triangles, we're looking for, based on our formula, we're looking for the base and the height. So the B, in this case, will be 8 yards, and the height is the one going up and down in this case, which is 6 yards. Okay, we're then going to plug that into our formula. So our formula says B times H over 2. So our B is 8, our H is 6 over 2. So 6 times 8, 48 over 2. Now, again, I've shown you guys many ways that you can solve a problem like that. I would, for this one, let's just go ahead and divide it by 2. So 48 divided by 2 equals 24. And then our units, because we're talking about area, is yards squared. So they're square yards. You need to make sure you get all that work down. Remember, when we're doing the guided practice, the expectation is that you are copying everything that I'm writing down. So if I'm writing it down, it's important, and you need to copy it down. Next one, number 6, is another triangle. This time we have a base of 9 yards, and you'll notice that the base here is just this part of the triangle. And the height is 6 yards. Okay, we're going to plug that into our formula again, so we get 9 times 6 over 2. When we go to solve this, remember we're talking about invisible or implied parentheses on the top. So first thing we'll do is figure out what 9 times 6 is, and then we will divide that by 2. So 9 times 6 would be 54. And then we divide by 2. So 54 divided by 2 is going to be 27. Now, you'll notice I forgot the units. 27, we're talking about yards, so it's square yards. YD square. Next, we're going on to a rectangle. And in rectangles, we use the formula for area, which was base times height. In this case, I'm going to count the base as 7 meters, and the height is 3 meters. When you're doing these problems, I want you to make sure that you are writing down what the variables mean. Okay, now we're going to plug things into our formula. The formula is just base times height. So area equals base, which is 7, times the height, which is 3. So our area equals 21 meters squared. All right. Next one, we're going to do number 8, same kind of problem. B equals, in this case, 6 inches. H equals 2 inches. And our area, we're just going to multiply those. So 6 times 2 gives us an area of 12. I ran out of ink here. 12 square inches. Moving right along, we're going to go on to, these are called parallelograms, these shapes. Now, one of the things you'll notice about parallelograms is that kind of like they have the same formula as rectangles, but you'll notice that their height is not actually one of the sides. Their height is actually a line outside of the parallelogram, or sometimes it's shown inside the parallelogram. Like they could have shown the height as a line like that. It would still be 2 inches though. So our base is 2 inches. Our height is 2 inches. And our area is just multiplying 2 inches times 2 inches, which gives us 4 inches squared. Okay. Number 10, same kind of problem. We got to find our base and our height first. So base equals 2 inches. Our height equals 1 inch. So our area equals 2 1, which is 2 inches squared. And actually, you notice on this problem, I actually wrote the units. That's technically the correct way of doing it. And if you take a look, if I were to multiply 2 times 1, I would get 2. And if I multiply inches times inches, I get square inches. So that's really the reason we use inches squared or square inches in these problems. For these last two problems, these are called trapezoids. You'll notice there's a little bit more information about them. And we're going to identify the two bases. It doesn't really matter which one you identify first. So B1 equals, we'll say that's the bottom base of 4. B2 could be the top base of 2. And then the height is 3 inches. Okay? We're going to plug these all into our formula. So if we take a look back at the top, our formula was B1 plus B2 over 2 times H. So on the top, I'm going to make a new fraction here. You have 4 plus 2 over 2 times 3. Well, there's implied parentheses on the top, so 4 plus 2 is 6. So we end up with 6 over 2 times 3. Well, 6 over 2 simplifies. You can divide 6 over 2. And we get 3 times 3, which equals 9. And we were talking about inches. So this is square inches or inches squared. We're going to use the same formula for number 12. B1 is 2 feet. B2 is 1 foot. H is 1 foot. And then we'll plug everything into our formula. So first we make our fraction. The top of the fraction has 2 plus 1. There's always a 2 on the bottom. That's just how the formula works. We're taking the average of those two bases, actually. And then we multiply by 1, which is the height. So in this case, we have 2 plus 1, which is 3 over 2 times 1. Now, in this case, we would normally divide 3 divided by 2 and then multiply by 1. But the problem with this is that 3 over 2 doesn't really reduce, and it's going to stay a fraction. So then if we just keep it as a fraction, when we multiply by 1, we're just going to get 3 over 2. And this is feet squared. Okay? Now, if you were really doing a problem where you had to find the area of a trapezoid in real life, most people are not going to be happy by getting 3 over 2. So they may want to make that into a mixed number, which is 3 and 1 half square feet. That gives you a better idea if you're like listening to this and you're trying to figure out how much paint to order or something. 3.5 square feet helps you a lot more. Okay, from this point on, I need you guys to, your teacher's going to be handing out the Order of Operations Day 4 sheet, which is 2-sided, and I need you guys to work on that for the rest of the hour. I appreciate your cooperation. Thank you.